22. As the 9th-seeded Providence Friars of the Big East play the number 1-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels from the ACC. The winner advancing to the Sweet 16 to face the Indiana Hoosiers. Friars just got by USC Thursday. Heels beat Florida Gulf Coast. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner, Lewis Johnson is on our sideline. Great to have you with us. Bryce Johnson caught your eye for the Tar Heels on Thursday.
Oh, he was spectacular. And we can talk about the 8 blocks, which was a Tar Heel record. But he brought that energy, and what I've always loved about his game, he can beat you in a number of ways. As a defensive end, a great weak side defender, the alley-oop. But how about the putback here? You need that energy and effort if you want to move on to the Sweet 16.
And particularly when you're playing a team like Providence that has 2 outstanding players. Ben Bento at 6'9", he can get it done inside, he can get it done outside. He's going to be a really tough matchup problem. Speaking of matchup problems, how about one of the top point guards anywhere, Chris Dunn? A tremendous ball handler, a tremendous defender, and he can knock down the 3.
Providence comes in 24 up and 10 down, and they've been resurrected with Ed Cooley, their 5th-year head coach. He was born and raised in Providence, loves his team, loves the city. Chris Dunn was the Big East Player of the Year. Watch him with Lindsay Lalamba, along with Bentel and Bullock. And for North Carolina, coming in at 29-6, Bryce Johnson, first-team All-ACC, Jackson Meeks, Page, and Barry, the 5 for the Heels. Roy Williams is the coach. He passed Dean Smith, second all-time in NCAA tournament wins with his 66th the other day. Doug Sermons, 3 Final Fours. One of our officials, John Gaffney, in his 8th NCAA tournament. And Eric Curry is in his 12th. And away we go from Raleigh. Who will advance to the Sweet 16? The Heel, the Friars, and Marcus Page on the wing.
Well, I like the Ed Cooley keys here, talking about the upset, what his Friars have to do. Number 1, rebounder. We saw Bryce Johnson going crazy on the offensive glass, but he says we have to make 10 threes. And number 3, we have to shoot and make a high percentage of our free throws. That allows us and tells me that we are being aggressive at the offensive end.
Both teams opening in the man-to-man, and there's Marcus Page trying to defend Chris Dunn.
Dunn scoops it up, fouled on the play across the lane. And tagged on it is Page, the senior for the Heels. His first Dunn to the stripe.
And one of the things that Ed Cooley told us yesterday is he thought Chris Dunn was going to present a matchup problem for North Carolina. Dunn's size and strength, whether matched up against Barry or Page.
Dunn, the only player in college basketball in the top 15 reg in both assists and steals. He does it all.
He's got the prototypical body for a point guard. 6'4 and a half, long arms, great vision, and the Jets to back him up. We saw that big 3 that he made because he struggled offensively versus the Trojans, but he hit that huge 3 to tie the ball game, Kevin.
He was 4 of 5 from three-point territory against the Trojans on Thursday night late.
And Reggie, he's an outstanding defender, and Joe Barry, the point guard for North Carolina, has been a key for the Tar Heels of late.
Good fake by Page to get open for the shot, but a miss. Saved by Dunn, off to Bentel. The Friars, the 9th seed, finished 10-8 and in 4th place in the Big East Conference.
And we saw a great effort in game 1 here by Malcolm Brogdon at that guard position at both ends of the floor. Will we see that with Chris Dunn? He has the capability of controlling the game, just like Brogdon.
Long shot from Bentel, saved by Bullock, who had the game winner. It's going to be off of North Carolina.
That was a great catch by Roy Williams.
It was, yeah. He may have a bad knee, but he can still get the hand-eye. There, he's got a big brace, Roy does, on his right knee.
Yeah, that wasn't an easy catch either. That wasn't right to him. He had to extend for that. Didn't even ruffle his tie.
There's some ball in his ears, you know that.
This Carolina defense, they want to shrink the floor, especially in this high screen and roll between Dunn and Bentel.
Bullock, rebound by Joe Barry. Page will slash. Finding Meeks, bottled it inside. Bentel comes up with it.
Oh, that's a tough pass if you want Kennedy Meeks to make that.
Look at Dunn fly. Offensive foul on Chris Dunn. First on Dunn as we take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlights and Roy Williams of North Carolina.
Well, what better guy to get a team prepared than Roy Williams, who's been around the college game for so many years with so many great teams.
That's quite a resume of success right there.
Here's Bryce Johnson. There's Kennedy Meeks.
And that's exactly what Ed Cooley was worried about. North Carolina is so big and strong on the inside. You have to make sure you block out, and Kennedy Meeks had a couple of extra opportunities.
And Carolina's going to send 3 every time to the offensive glass as Barry comes up with the steal.
Breakaway Page. Feed from Barry.
Well, Providence has settled so far early, except for that first drive by Dunn for the long jumper. Even though North Carolina has the size advantage inside, I think Providence has to attack in there.
And Dan, Dunn with that one foul, what's going to be his level of aggressiveness?
Jalen Lindsey. Rebound off the heels. As they fall to the deck that time, with the rebounder Bryce Johnson. There's Ed Cooley. He was the 2-time high school player of the year in Providence. Terrific high school player.
I like him pumping up his team, saying, we're not really worried about the Carolina defense. We've seen much tougher teams at the defensive end. I'm worried about the rebounds. If we can keep them off the glass, we're going to be able to get whatever we want.
Cartwright is in. Rebound, Bryce Johnson.
I don't think what they want is contested jumpers from the perimeter.
Justin Jackson. With another rebound from Lamamba.
To me, Lamamba is going to have to be the X factor. And him and Bullock are going to, and Lindsey are going to have to make shots.
Yeah, Lamamba gets his on the inside, taking the ball to the goal.
Lamamba, good feed inside Cartwright. And they beat Barry.
Now, Cartwright is very quick, and that was good ball movement, and that's what has to happen for Providence. You can't stand and snipe from the perimeter.
Carolina has started 2-7. Providence 25. Jackson. Bentel. Cartwright the other way.
And they got to let Bentel handle the ball. He's taken one shot, but it was a 3. Get him down inside against Kennedy Meeks and get him the ball.
Providence in the NCAA tournament for the 3rd consecutive year.
I would just get the ball to Bentel in that mid-post area and let him face Kennedy Meeks.
Bullock is open. There's a whistle.
Stepped out of bounds.
Yep, he sure did on the side. And now he's going to tie his shoe. His team down by 1 with more than 4 minutes gone in the first half. Boy, he just about touched it, Page did, but Cartwright lassos it and puts it in for 2. The Final Four will be on TBS April 2nd with the semifinals and the 4th with the championship game. Let's swing it over to Lewis Johnson.
Well, Kevin, the North Carolina Tar Heels have a sea of blue here in this arena tonight, and the guys on the court have this entire... They do play in-state. The record is incredible, 32-1. How about that? The only loss came back in 1979 against Penn. That was right here in Raleigh, so they're hoping to be able to carry on with that great record. Now, we talked to Ed Cooley at Providence, and he said the keys are really to keep the play at the Friars' pace and keep this thing under control. If they can do that, he feels his team will be fine. So crowd control is going to be huge for Ed Cooley and company, but these guys in Carolina Blue are here tonight.
Lewis tapped up and in by Bryce Johnson. Yep, 28 consecutive tournament wins in the state of Carolina for the Tar Heels.
That's the 2nd offensive rebounding basket already in this game for North Carolina.
I said this all season. To me, the Carolina's best offense is a missed shot because of those athletes of Meeks and Johnson.
This is Chris Dunn.
And you can't guard that.
The other way, the ACC regular season and tournament champions into the 6'9", Bryce Johnson. He is all arms and legs. Chris Dunn, long 2, down the hatch.
That's a good answer right there.
It took him a whole half to get warmed up in the first game Thursday. And tonight he is starting hot off the start.
And though Page and Dunn have never played against one another in the collegiate setting, they want to give each other an AAU ball. And I think that's why Dunn is so excited to play against Marcus Page here his high school friend from those ABC camps.
And Meeks is right there and couldn't get it to go. Right the other way.
Meeks has had problems finishing close to the basket. That drives Roy Williams absolutely crazy.
He's got that bad left knee that's causing problem too.
I think that's why we're going to see a heavy dose of Isaiah Hicks in this ball game.
Bento three, Berry rebound. He's got two.
And Bento has to make some of those shots. Providence is going to win this game.
It's Berry with the drive. The sophomore at 6 foot from Apopka, Florida. He was the ACC tournament MVP. He was terrific. The only previous Tar Heel to win an ACC tournament MVP, Phil Ford. Done. Another three. Meeks the rebound. Quick outlet to Jackson. Look at this. Look at the strides to the rack.
They're so long and athletic, and they hit you in a number of ways. Either it's Johnson, Meeks on the offensive glass, or the athleticism of Jackson and Page and Berry in the open court.
You have to take good shots. You cannot take long contested shots that have long rebounds that allow North Carolina to get out and go.
Bento strong inside, missed the shot. It's a third rebound for senior Bryce Johnson. And Jackson couldn't catch up with it.
And Roy Williams, this is exactly how you want to play. You want to make it that frenetic pace. There's off the glass there by Berry, and in transition, Jackson with that long athletic move to the rim.
Reggie, there may not be very many guys in this tournament who are better going to the basket than Justin Jackson. If you let him get up a full head of steam going full court, then you really got problems.
Tigers come in, they've won 5 of their last 6. Tar Heels come in, they've won 6 straight. 8 of 9.
And Cooley, one of his keys, he wanted to make 10 threes. They're 0 of 5 in this first half.
3 done. Got it.
There's our first one. 1 of 6.
He's got 8.
Oh boy, he's lucky he didn't pick up his second foul.
Benson is in. Page 3. Good. Marcus Page, the first 3-time captain in Tar Heel history.
And when he gets going from 3, this is a team that becomes almost impossible to beat.
Nate Britt is in. Watch is done. Also in there now is Country Smith, the freshman at 6'8", and a load for Providence. Britt. Pinson is in. We got a foul. It is inside. It's going to be on Smith for Providence. His first. Page. Outside marksman. And then this one, the lucky bounce for Dunn, leading the Friars in the round of 32.
Greg Gumbel in New York with an All-State Good Hands update on a couple of games in Des Moines. South Region #1 Kansas having its way with UConn. Perry Ellis, game high 21 with about 4 minutes to play. Meanwhile, in Denver, Midwest Region #3 Utah down to Gonzaga. Eric McClellan with a game high 15, but they have most of the second half remaining to play. Kevin.
All right, Greg, thank you. I don't know what the arithmetic or the analytics or the algorithm is on Kansas, but they have got 2 of everything. They are amazing. There's a nice drive inside, a quick 2. The athletic Isaiah Hicks puts it through.
14 of the 17 North Carolina points have come from the inside, close to the basket. Providence has to clean that up.
Size kills, Dan. And like Kevin said, with Carolina, you go with your starters in that front line of Jackson and Johnson and Meeks, and you come off the bench with James and Hicks and Pinson. There's no shortage of play or drop-in play.
Dunn with 10, 4 of 5 for the Friars.
He's on pace to have 40.
I know he's playing every bit the part of the Big East Player of the Year tonight, which he's been twice. They're all over Hicks. And then there's Joel James. And he's like a runaway freight train inside. North Carolina started 2-9. They've gone 7 of 8 since.
And it looks like Ed Cooley has made up his mind that every time the bigs get the ball down low, you're going to double quickly.
But not quickly enough. If you're going to double that guy down low, you have to prevent him from turning around to see the court, because if he does turn, he can find the open man. He found James, and Dunn just picked up his second personal foul.
Dunn, the only player in double figures. He's got the 10, as Dan said, for the Friars. He takes a seat on the bench. Volleyballed around, and out of bounds it goes. Carolina's got it. Don't miss the new TBS game show that dares to ask the question, how well do you really know your partner? Separation anxiety, all new. Tuesdays at 10, only on TBS.
North Carolina, you just look at the size of this Tar Heel team. As Barry gets a floater to go in the lane.
And they've made 1-3, Reggie, and everything else is in the lane.
Yeah, this size would challenge some NBA teams. it really would. Size, I'm not talking about talent. I'm just going by size.
Bentel with a 3. And Theo Pinson brings it in.
And Reggie at size that can run.
With the foot of Bentel.
And here comes more size off the bench. Johnson or James.
Well, James comes in, gives him a couple of solid minutes, and then leaves the game, and that allows Bryce Johnson to get a little bit of a breather.
Number 1 seed, North Carolina. The number 2 seed overall, and back at Kansas. Screen by Johnson. Drive inside, grip.
Fortunate there. Johnson had his hands on it.
Right and down court. It goes for Drew Edwards. Edwards with 2. He's the guy that inbounded the ball for the game-winning layup from Bullock against SC on Thursday. The freshman, Edwards. Ritz, he's quick.
Now you've got to get up and try to get something early before this Carolina defense can settle in.
Bentel across the lane aggressively for 2, and he's got 4.
How easy could have been an and one and down.
But Bentel has got to get involved, particularly with Dunn being on the bench.
Inside for Johnson, the pass by Britt, and out of bounds to go.
Now, it's not a bad idea to get yourself going against North Carolina, because what you can do, you start there and then head down the court. You don't want to get in a track meet with North Carolina, but you take your opportunities where you can find them. That's a great job by Edwards to get out running, and it's a great job by Cartwright to find it.
Friars began the season 14-1. Eventually got up to number 8 in the EP poll, and the best start since the late 70s. Now an RPI of 40 as they come to the tournament. Cartwright with a nice shot. Tyron Cartwright from Compton, California. 6-0 run by Providence. Inside Johnson.
That's back-to-back times they've tried to get Johnson down low that Carolina had just thrown the basketball away.
The NCAA tournament and Coke. Team up for great taste.
Reggie, you're right. Bryce Johnson, you can lob it to him, but even as big as he is and as high as he can jump, that was a little too much.
He made the 6-0 run with Dunn out. Bentel. And he was met by all kinds of traffic inside by the Carolina defense, and Bentel, who is a sophomore from Wilmington, Delaware. Hicks will pick up the foul. Bentel will be at the line.
And Kevin, of all the guys that North Carolina has among big guys who are supposed to be able to guard Bentel, you think Hicks is the guy who could do the best job keeping in front of him. Bentel went right by him that time.
I think at the end of this ball game, we're going to see Johnson on Bentel because of his athleticism and quickness, especially out on the perimeter.
Bentel is an amazing story and an amazing player. His improvement this year has been dramatic.
Look at those shoulders. I mean, this kid, I hate to say this, he's next level ready. I mean, he is ready to go.
Big East most improved player this year, Ben Bentel.
Came from Ghana when he was 15.
Marcus Page, a lot of traffic. Good rebound, Bryce Johnson. Out of bounds off Lindsay and a couple Friars. But they're just being aggressive inside, fighting their way back from a 7-point deficit.
Ed Cooley is trying to spirit on his guys to secure those defensive rebounds.
But they've rallied to take the lead without Chris Dunn. I'll tell you what, though, if you don't get the first North Carolina in there, you're going to have a hard time getting the second one.
North Carolina has 6 offensive rebounds so far. Lindsey got in the way of that. I don't think it's off Pinson. Nope, it's off of.
Well, the best thing is the play happens in front of Ed Cooley. The official who's over there closest calls it North Carolina's ball. And Cooley looks at the official across the court and said, "Hey, help me out here."
Cooley's got a lot of emotion.
Yes, he does.
Team feeds off it. Terry,
he is great.
Pinson.
He has as much personality as any 6 guys that we've met in this tournament.
Look at Hicks trying to carve his way inside. And too many steps. Travel. Hey fans, get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. 3 turnovers for North Carolina in the last 3 trips.
And it's been Providence that has converted on all 3 of those, Kevin.
Providence doing a nice job moving the ball. They've stopped settling for those long outside jump shots. They've been getting it to Bentel, and they've been driving it inside.
Edwards. Shot clock at 6. Cartwright. Defended by Berry. Edwards tipped it. Offensive rebound.
Providence giving Carolina a taste of their own medicine with the tapbacks. Another offensive possession here for Providence.
Bullock.
Oh, had him.
Johnson is on him.
Well, that's 2 back-to-back settles right there.
Another offensive rebound. Bentel shoved by Hicks and a foul on the Tar Heels.
Right, just get it to Bentel. He's going to do something with it.
Hicks picks up his second. Reggie Miller playing referee. Roy Williams in Carolina against Dunn in Providence on TBS. You see the early numbers in this one. 7:25 to go in the first half. What has probably caught our eye the most is that the best player for Providence, Chris Dunn. Early explosive 10 points for the Friars. Gone with a couple fouls, taking a breather, but then, Dan, they make their run and they come back from a pretty good deficit.
Well, it's really surprising, and one of the reasons is they've started to attack the basket. North Carolina dominated the points inside early, but it's been Providence who's been on the attack for some reason since Dunn went out of the game.
What I've been most impressed about, Cooley said they needed to make 10 threes. They've only made 1, but guess what? Carolina's only made 1 as well, so they're doing a good job of guarding that 3-point line.
Carolina scoreless the last 3.5 minutes. It's a Bentel 3. Meeks was out there. Rebound, Bryce Johnson.
See, I think that's okay if Bentel shoots that shot.
Well, especially with Dunn on the bench, your offense has to run through. Nice pump fake there by Page to get Edwards up in the air.
Foul on Edwards.
A little pump fake here. The hesitation, the shoulder fake. Edwards with the contact, sending Page to the free throw line.
Now you saw Page jump into that contact a little bit, but because Edwards was going to break into Page's space anyway, that's why it's called a foul. If Edwards goes straight up and down, then that is not a foul on Edwards.
We should have heard Roy Williams talking about senior from Iowa, Marcus Page, exemplary academically, terrific in the community. Roy said, I feel I should have to pay him to coach him. This guy is one of the most favorite that Roy has ever coached, from Marion, Iowa, Linn-Mar High School. The ACC's top active scorer, Marcus Page. The Mambas out there. This is Cartwright trying to cross over. That's another foul, and it goes on North Carolina. Roy is getting hot, and the foul goes on Page, and it's a second on him. Get the CBS Sports app to follow your brackets. Watch highlights or get instant team and upset alerts. Download the CBS Sports app now. Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner, Lewis Johnson.
Cartwright doing a nice job while Chris Dunn on the bench with those 2 fouls. Being very steady with this Friars offense.
Bentel with a 3.
I mean, how do you guard this guy? And that's with Johnson guarding him as well.
Reggie, if he's going to make threes, I don't think you can.
Page, Berry, Bullock will defend Bryce Johnson. Or try to.
Good answer. Good answer by Johnson.
Again, we get into one of those mismatch things like we had in the first game. I'm not sure that Providence has anybody who can guard Bryce Johnson.
Go back to Bento, especially with Meeks guarding him.
Dunn still on the bench. 2 fouls. Bento.
Look at that.
Three goes into Meeks. Yep, you're exactly right, Reg. You called it.
Here's the step back 3 by Bento. And Dan, you talked about this at the top. This young man is so talented offensively. This is just a step back 3 over one of the most talented defensive players in the ACC. And here's the fake and the foul on Meeks. And he can get that anytime he wants with Meeks. And now you're downsizing.
Yeah, Meeks and Page will leave. Pinson checks in. Britt checks in for North Carolina.
I like this.
Pinson is bouncy and athletic.
You got to put a smaller player on Bento. Someone who can get up under those arms in his chest.
But right goes off the glass. Britt is first. Cartwright with 6.
He just forces his way to the basket. And Cartwright, what a great story about him. When they were trying to set up that inbounds play for the game winner on Thursday night, Cartwright was the guy who was supposed to take the ball out of bounds, but he told his coach, hey, I'm not as good an inbounds passer as Drew Edwards. Put Drew in, and that's what Ed Cooley did, and Edwards made the great pass.
10-point turnaround in the first half. Carolina initially led by 7. Now they trail by 3.
Providence is
5.5. Justin Jackson. Johnson down low. Britt on top. Pinson in the corner. Berry triple. Card! Ties it at 28. Berry with 7. A heck of a game. Heck of a game.
Heck of a 2 games.
And without Chris Dunn.
That's a pretty good effort out top there. By Berry defensively.
Bento. Cutting his Bullock. Goes up. Picked up by Pinson. Hit high and fouled.
And Ed Cooley is telling Lindsey, if you're going to go in there, or excuse me, Bullock, go in there and act like you're going to dunk.
Who delivered the Buick expectation-shattering performance of the day? Tune in to Inside March Madness presented by Buick and find out. Under 5 to go, first half.
Now, if you're Providence, one thing you have to be careful about is North Carolina is a team that can go on a run. You have to prevent them from an 8-9-0 run at this point in the half.
Carolina hits at half their shots. There's an offensive foul, and it goes on Berry. Hitting the deck hard. As Berry picks up his first was Cartwright. He took it like a man.
How about the contributions by Cartwright off the bench with Dunn on the bench with those 2 fouls.
Good point.
Just slides over. And you don't have to be stationary anymore as long as your shoulders.
You have to have your feet established and facing the dribbler. And that's what he did. Once you establish that initial guarding position, you're allowed to move to maintain it.
So now they have a smaller defender.
Oh, Bento foul.
Yeah.
Pinson fought hard and lured him in.
And baited him in, really.
Yeah.
Well, if you're Bento, you're capable against the smaller guy of pulling up and taking like a 15-foot jump shot. You don't have to lower that shoulder and bowl your way to the basket.
If you're Bento, especially with a smaller defender on you, you got to take your time.
And Cooley, the Providence coach, if I didn't read his lips correctly, thought it was a flop. A drive by Jackson, another Carolina turnover. They got 7 in the first half. Cartwright wheels, works inside on Britt. Oh, rejected by Bryce Johnson, who plays handball. He had 8 blocks on Thursday. He just knocked that into the 5th row.
This is what we call this just ain't right. Bryce Johnson, one of the better weak side defenders in all of college basketball, with the monster block.
That'll get your attention.
What timing. Bento, 3. Well, it's off of Providence. Berry lets it go. Tar Heels will get it. The Tar Heels have hit half their shots. Providence 44%. You think this kid likes to play? He's a senior and playing for his life right now to stay alive for Carolina.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by AT&T, Quicken Loans, and by Northwestern Mutual.
Back in Raleigh, round of 32. Watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness. Download the app today. Roy was saying the other day, he goes, I know my team thinks I'm pathetic. It may be annoying because I'm such a always on attention to detail, the small things, but I tell them the small things add up. And Reggie, that has been your observation early in this tournament. The small things do matter.
The little things make the big things happen, and that goes in everything in life. So if you're going to pay close attention to detail, it's going to pay off in the long run.
Pinson driving on Benzel.
Boy, what a great job by the big guy to stay in front of the smaller, quicker player. Now, Providence is 2 for 10 from beyond the arc, Reggie, but they're 9 for 15 inside the arc. They need to continue to attack the basket.
Winner here will play Indiana in Chicago Friday. Hoosiers beat Kentucky earlier today. That is a Providence foul.
Good hands there by Britt to pry it for him. Lamamba reacted with the foul. It's going to send Britt to the free throw line.
Lamamba with his first.
Look how quick his hands are. Good defensive effort there by Britt.
Where was the foul?
On the recovery, maybe, possibly. Are you questioning the official?
No, I'm just wondering out loud.
Okay.
We got a good group here working.
Yes, we do.
Sermons, Gaffney, and Curry. Made Britt at the free throw line. One of our officials, Eric Curry. This is his 12th NCAA tournament. His wife, Kelly, is the Division III McAllister women's basketball coach. Live in the Twin Cities. Basketball is their life.
And Nate Britt is still one of the most amazing players. He shoots his jump shots with his right hand and his free throws with his left.
They said they're going to Chicago. They're going to Philadelphia should they win. Benzel inside. More great defense by Carolina.
Not quite sure if that was blocked by Johnson or the intimidation.
Berry, 2.
You think you have a show or two at one end. You miss the dunk, and then Berry makes you pay from Carolina.
7-0 Tar Heel run. Coming up in the AT&T at the half, we'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, highlights, and updates. So coming up from our studios, the AT&T at the half. Chris Dunn has been sitting out a long time with 2 fouls.
Well, and Kyron Cartwright has come off the bench. He has scored 7 points, and that has really helped things. But this is a danger zone now for Providence. North Carolina has scored 4 in a row. They have to stop this run right here.
You were talking to Cooley about the foul problem with Dunn.
And each of the fouls that Dunn committed today were silly fouls, and that's what he has to try to avoid.
Well, we saw the same thing on Thursday versus USC, and Ed Cooley told us that Dunn's pretty much done this all season long.
Edwards. Cartwright laces one over to Lindsay at 3.
Now 2 for 11 from beyond the arc.
Yep. So they're 0-5 in the last 3.5 minutes. Providence is scoreless with a couple turnovers.
I just think they have to at least probe the inside before they take the 3.
Benzel and Bryce Johnson are going at it. Pinson's on top. Berry on the side. Britt on top. Jackson on the wing. The Tar Heel 5. Berry.
A great defensive effort there by Bentel on Bryce Johnson. I mean, you could not have guarded him better. 3 quarters behind, fronted, continued to move. Solid effort defensively by Bentel.
Now they need to throw it to Bentel on the block.
Bullock. Benzel on top. Pinson's on him. Shot clock at 9. Lindsey's on the wing. Cartwright with a spinner.
That's too tough a shot.
You're right, Dan.
You know, Bento is playing against the 6'6" guy. He's got to go down inside and get the ball. And if he then never goes down in there, you can't throw it to him on the block.
Providence down to 39% shooting. Jackson free. Hustle by Berry, but more hustle by Cartwright. And Zayden Edwards comes the other way. Carolina is shooting 45% from the floor.
You know, if Providence wins this game, they're going to really have to give a lot of credit to Kyron Cartwright. He has come in this first half and in place of the foul play, Chris Dunn, and done a tremendous job.
7 points and a couple rebounds. Bento will drive and force the issue. Pinson, who is defending, has the rebound. 7 consecutive misses for them. Looking at the other end. Bryce Johnson.
And that's their power forward just running the floor. Nice recognition there to understand that, to allow Johnson to finish.
Great rim run. 9-0 run by North Carolina.
That's exactly what we were talking about. It's the end of the half, and they've gone on this 9-0 run.
Brings it 2 seconds. Game clock and shot clock. Bento with a screen. Cartwright tries to get free. Bullock pulls up above the line, and Johnson follows him, and it is a foul. So 3 free throws coming up.
And Bryce Johnson is just going to run the court. Oh, that's right in the middle of your screen, just takes and runs. And that's what you want your big guy to do. Take and run down to the other end of the court. Your guys will find you.
But Dan, he just straight outran all of Providence on that.
When here he jumps in, and again, if you go straight up in the air, you're not going to pick up that foul, but Johnson jumping toward the offensive player. That's hard not to do. It's much easier to say go straight up in the air.
Bullock is a sophomore out of Hampton, Virginia. One of the top 5 high school players in Virginia when he was recruited by Providence. He missed all of last season, leg surgery. He was one of 2 Friars to start every game this season, Rodney Bullock. Game-winning shot Thursday. Mentioned before against SC to put him in the round of 32. Final seconds. Berry 3. At the half, Providence probably pretty lucky they went scoreless from the field in the last 6 minutes. North Carolina outscored them 9-2, and they only trail. The Friars do by 4 at halftime.
And they played the last 12 minutes of the half without Chris Dunn.
Something else.
Well, it's going to be interesting to me is what changes does Cooley make with Dunn on the floor? More high screen and roll, in my opinion, between Dunn and Bento.
To Lewis Johnson.
Coach, you all had some turnovers in this first half, but your thoughts on the run you made to take control here?
Well, it would have been a lot more fun if we hadn't fouled them on a 3-point shot there at the end. We need to stay on the ground and not try to block shots, but play defense. But we did try to get it going. You know, Chris got in foul trouble for them. Marcus got in foul trouble for us. Isaiah had 2 fouls, Marcus. So we got to stop fouling. Stop making so many silly turnovers. If you're throwing over the top, it's got to be wide open. None of them were wide open.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
One of the best in the business, Roy Williams, brings his top seed Tar Heels into Raleigh. They began the season as the preseason #1 in college basketball, now #3. We'll take a break and then take you to our AT&T at the half after these messages as you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by Lowe's, Burger King, Napa, and by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
The top seed Tar Heels lead by 4 at halftime. As we go to the second half, as we take a look at the Axe first half statistics here in Raleigh. Points in the paint, a pretty interesting number. Moments ago, our Lewis Johnson caught up with Providence head coach Ed Cooley.
Coach, how much did you miss Chris Dunn in the first half, and what do you need from him now?
Well, we need him to be the best player in the country this half if we're going to advance. I thought we did a good job hanging it in when he got in foul trouble. You know, we got to You know, we got to limit their transition baskets and their second shots. Then when they're getting those, they're almost unbeatable.
You wanted 10 threes out of your team tonight. You're 2 for 11. Do you continue to shoot that, or do you go inside? What's the plan?
I think a combination of both. I think we want to play inside out as much as we can because we're going to be open and we got to play our style of basketball. We're not going to deviate from that.
All right, Ed, thanks.
Thanks.
We just saw the numbers a moment ago. Dan, what do they tell you about the first half and maybe where we could be headed here in the second?
Well, I think the big thing was Chris Dunn was fabulous offensively. He had 10 points before he went out of the game. And Ed Cooley's right. Chris Dunn has to be fabulous in the second half.
If you're Carolina, plus 14 points in paint,
Right.
7 offensive rebounds. That's what they do. Their best offense is a missed shot. But I'm with you, Dan. If you're Ed Cooley, you're encouraged to only be down 4 points. Look at all the points in the paint right here and the tip backs. This is just too easy. And you've got to do a better job of protecting that lane.
Yeah, I think you do, Reggie, but if you're playing North Carolina with their size, they're going to score inside. You've got to get your points as well. It's not one of these things you're not going to get a bunch of stops against North Carolina. That's a great attack inside to start with.
They go right at Bryce Johnson. Benzel was in there working.
How about the change here to start this second half? You had Jackson, the taller, longer, athletic player, guarding Chris Dunn to start this second half.
In fact, they blitzed him on top there. They quickly went with 2 guys on a blitz.
Well, we talked about Chris Dunn with his 2 fouls in the first half, but Marcus Page also had 2 fouls in the first half. He left with 6 minutes to go in the half, and so you don't want Marcus Page, if you're Roy Williams, picking up a 3rd foul trying to guard Chris Dunn.
So it was 19-14 North Carolina when Dunn went out. Providence outscored North Carolina 14-6 to go up by 3. Page. The winner goes to Philadelphia. Looking for a pass inside to Bryce Johnson. Knocked away by Bentel. Here comes the elusive Dunn. Look at him slide inside.
Oh, wow!
Whoa, what a move.
He put a move on Page as well as Jackson in the open court to get that lay-in.
2-time Big East Player of the Year, has gone 5 of 6. He's gotten 12. He's put in 12 points on 6 shots
In 9 minutes.
in 9 minutes. Here's another one. He's got a carpet right to the rack. Revive him. We're 36-34.
Now he just has to stay on the floor. He's been so crucial to the success of this Providence team. A lot of banging down low.
So this is just Bentel tipping the ball away, and now Brett, look at him get going. You talk about a combination of quickness and shiftiness. Good heavens.
Looks more fearsome when he comes right at you. Like my God. What are you going to do defensively?
You're going to get out of the way and not get in foul trouble.
That's exactly.
Hope you don't get hurt.
Jackson. Lindsey got that last foul, his second. It's Perry trying to force the issue inside, the smallest guard for the Tar Heels.
And that's the second foul on Bentel. Now, I know we're in the second half, but it's still early in the second half, and so Ben Bentel now with 2 fouls. So he doesn't want to pick up a quick 3rd one. That would change the complexion of things for Providence as well.
We had no back in the first half about the only other point guard to win that ACC tournament MVP. Before Barry was Phil Ford. Seems hard to believe, but it's been that long for these Carolina guards, point guards. This kid has been terrific, this Joel Barry. Stop. Most consistent player all season, Roy Williams told us. The winner here goes to Philadelphia to take on the Hoosiers who beat Kentucky in Des Moines earlier today.
And that's a matchup of storied programs.
Yes, turnover.
La Mamba has to do a better job of creating space to come get that basketball from Bentel. Unforced turnover here by the Flyers.
Johnson on top, Page at 3. First down and retrieved by Rodney Bullock. He's got 3 rebounds for the Flyers. Bentel down low. They cross that midcourt stripe in a hurry. Into Meeks. Knocked away by Page and Meeks.
And Page, I think, just got picked up the foul.
He did.
Or was it Meeks?
Hold on. That was Meeks. Let's watch it.
Goes hard to the basket.
Could have been either.
Could have been either or. They both got him. Looks like Meeks first.
Yep.
Meeks first.
Good call by the crew. Benzel at the line.
Man, for his size, he is so quick. And to be able to take the ball off the dribble and finish. Now remember, Ed Cooley told our Lewis Johnson that even though he was disappointed with only the 2 threes, another one of his keys was to shoot and make a high percentage of free throws. Already 8 of 11 from the charity stripe.
The Tar Heel substitution. Hicks for Meeks. Lindsay is guarding Jackson. Into Johnson. Benzel. Foul.
And that's that quick third foul.
Your teams, your highlights, your scores, all in one place. Download Team Stream. The free app from Bleacher Report now.
It's going to be huge going forward. Those 3 fouls on Benzel.
And now you get Bryce Johnson down on the block and go right at Benzel. Get number 4.
Page a screen, switch on defense. Jackson over Benzel.
That's something that's really improved over the season for Jackson. Only shooting 27% from downtown. Knocks down his 29th.
He's got 5.
It's the second time that they've stepped on the end line.
Yeah, you're right, Reg. It was at the other end last time.
I mean, this is right in the grill of Ben Bennell.
Jackson, who was homeschooled growing up in Tomball, Texas. He was the #1 recruit in that category. Johnson. Bryce Johnson, the 8th leading scorer in the ACC. King a 7-0 run. He's got 10.
Chris Dunn time.
Here he goes. Boy, they swarm to him every time he's got the ball. Benzel a 3. Big hit.
And that's what Ed Cooley was talking to Lewis Johnson about at halftime. You drive the ball inside, force the defense to collapse, and kick it back out.
Jackson a runner. Rebound by the leaping Lindsay.
Look out.
Dunn. He's got him on the heels. The Euro step and pickpocketed. Page goes down. Does his best. Globetrotter. Timeout. North Carolina. You have this coming at you. Hold on. And that's what Carolina did. Stuck to their defensive roots. Timeout in Raleigh. First game here in Raleigh tonight. The Cavaliers, the top seed, had a monster second half. Indiana beat Kentucky in a brilliant game in Des Moines. And in what is probably the most important of those things, the bands had a dance-off. Let's see, do we have Providence winning? The Providence band or the Carolina band? Providence band.
Providence.
With moves like that, who wouldn't award them the win?
That whole thing is very
We're getting slap happy. We gotta stay on our toes here. Hicks is in. Jackson, Perry with the ball. Page off the screen. Bryce Johnson down low. That's the Tar Heels foul.
Mike is trying to go at Benzel to the floor.
He is electric when he begins to move. The drive by Hicks and a foul as he was on his way to the rim. Bullock will pick up the foul for the Friars.
And every time the whistle blows, Ed Cooley's got to be holding his breath because Bentel got 16:21 left and Bentel's got 3 fouls.
Berry, quick 3. Good looking rebound, aggressively pulled off the glass that time by Lindsay. He's got 4. Lindsay's out there, done with the ball. Lamamba on top, Bullock on the side. Benzel atop the key. That's the Friar foul.
They need some kind of contribution from Lamamba.
Dunn. Lamamba. Shot clock at 9. Now they got Jackson. Reggie talked about this earlier. Watching Dunn. He ducks. He leans. The clock at 2. The pass picked off by Bryce Johnson, but he stepped out of bounds. A break for Providence.
Very lucky break. Shot clock was down to 2 seconds. And Bryce came up with that loose ball steal.
And look at the shot clock at the top of the screen. 3 seconds left. Bryce Johnson going after the loose ball. And watch what happens. Johnson controls the ball and steps on the sideline. So since he controlled the ball and stepped on the sideline, it's Providence ball, and they reset the shot clock because possession changed hands.
Got right on the perimeter. Bentel on top, picked up by a toward Dunn. What a pass on top, Bentel. And right on the screw.
And Kevin, we need to see more. If you have the two most dynamic players on the floor in Bentel and Dunn, you got to put them in more situations like that. Nice floater there by Jackson.
Jackson's got 7. Providence comes the other way. They are 4 of 4 from the field in the second half. 7 ties. 7 lead changes. Cartwright. 5 minutes gone here in the second half. Jackson stays on Dunn. Bentel with the screen. Opens up the triple. Johnson with the rebound.
Every play has to involve Dunn and Bentel from here on out.
Johnson's got 9 boards. That sets up a beautiful drive by Barry. Joel Barry slashing inside. He's got 13. Quick. Hard to guard. Lindsay. Dunn.
I like the strategy here, putting the longer and bigger Jackson starting the second on Dunn.
Bullock. Into Bryce Johnson. Rebound by Barry.
Here you got to dig in. North Carolina looks like they're getting ready for one of their patented runs.
Highest scoring team in the ACC. 12th highest scoring in college basketball. Foul.
And that's 3 foul on Dunn now.
And we've seen how valuable Chris Dunn can be. Here he's just going to take and go back door. That's a great cut.
Dunn stays in. A little more than 6 minutes gone here in the second half.
Both Dunn and Bentel now 3 fouls.
Jackson trying to drive. Knocked away. Don't miss the iHeart Radio Music Awards, live Sunday, April 3rd. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TBS, TNT, and True TV. Carolina is led by as many as 7. Providence has been up by as many as 3.
Now they're playing Dunn off the ball.
I like it.
He can get open, moving without the ball.
Quick spin move to get open. Bentel knocked away by Bryce Johnson, who comes up with his 10th rebound.
Well, it's one thing to make the spin move, but then you got to shoot it over Bryce Johnson, and that's tough.
And a weak side Isaiah Hicks as well.
Bryce Johnson's got the double-double. 21st of the year. Hicks.
And Bentel simply cannot defend that play aggressively because he has the 3 fouls.
Carolina with a 6-0 run. A 3 by Edwards. Or make it by Lindsay. Picked up by Page. He's off to the races.
And with Providence, you need to have timely threes from someone else. What a move there by Johnson.
North Carolina has just captured their biggest lead. The foul on Bullock for the 2nd time for Providence.
And Bentel, he really can't be very aggressive defending that, and so it's an easy basket for Hicks. And now this is just bad defense right there. He spins the baseline and gets the big dunk. Here's that North Carolina run.
Heels on an 8-0 run. The NCAA tournament in Coke. Team up for great taste. Providence has missed 5 consecutive shots. Britt is coming for the Tar Heels. Pinson is in. Jackson, Johnson, Barry. That's the Tar Heel 5.
Give Roy Williams a lot of credit. That halftime adjustment of putting Jackson on Dunn.
He made the adjustment at the end of the night in that second half, and they came out and dominated Florida Gulf Coast. Cartwright is in. He was a very important player for Providence. Lindsay, three. Bentel tries to tap it. Friars control it. Cartwright from behind. Foul. Britt.
We have seen one of the problems for Providence here in the second half. They were able to get the ball inside, force the defense to collapse. You kick it out to a perimeter shooter, and Lindsay just hasn't made that three.
No one has made any threes here for Providence. Remember, that was one of the Cooley keys. They wanted to make 10 three-pointers tonight. They only have 2.
2 of 11 and 1 of 4 in the second half in three-point shooting.
And particularly here in the second half, they've had some open looks. They just have not gone down.
Well, Lindsay's had back-to-back good looks.
Edwards is in. Cartwright, Bullock, Dunn with the ball. Benzel stays. That's the Friar group on the floor. 8 minutes gone. Driving is done.
The length of Jackson bothering him.
Hicks with the rebound. Britt with the ball. Gets into Hicks. Hicks against Benzel. Offensive foul.
Well, you called that same play against Benzel in the first half. You got to call it against Hicks here.
But I think you have to hit a guy the size of Bentel a little bit harder than that for him to react like that. It's like somebody hit him in the head with a shovel.
12th turnover for the Tar Heels. Tar Heels guys continue to dominate inside the lane.
And they're getting it from a lot of different sources. They've had 8 different guys score in the game. And here in the second half, Joel Berry, he's now got 13 in the game. This is a great drive. And then recognizing that Bentel is in foul trouble, they go right to Hicks. And Hicks makes the nice move. And then Bryce Johnson, he's already got a double-double. Here he goes, looks one way, goes the other way. Bullock goes for it. Then he gives you that look that would make Medusa quail.
And with Jackson going to the bench here, you're continuing to put a long, athletic defender on Dunn. Now it's Theo Pinson's turn.
Cartwright underneath. Providence scoreless for 4 minutes. They dig it out. Bentel puts it in. It had been 8 consecutive misses for the Friars.
Boy, they needed the Cartwright. Just missed the bunny there.
Now, Providence needs some help from other guys. No field goals by Bullock, no field goals by Lindsay, no field goals by Lamont.
Offensive foul. Sure was. You got that elbow around. And Bryce Johnson will pick up his 3rd personal foul.
You know, he enjoys dunking the ball even if it doesn't count.
So look at his left hand right there.
Wow, and that's right in front of the official. If you're going to get away with that, it's not in that spot. Now, it's only a 7-point game. Providence needs to stay with it.
Bentel into Jackson.
He's
got 2 straight.
So gifted at scoring the basketball. Now it's supposed to be a dribble handoff with Dunn. Bentel just kept it.
He's got 18. 9 in the first half. 9 here in the second. Britt. He's picked up defensively by Cartwright. Carolina shooting in the second half. 6 of 9. 3. No. Oh, and put back in. Page flew out of the rafters.
And normally you see this from one of the bigs from Carolina. Not the smallest guy on the floor here for Carolina, and Marcus Page.
Oh, did he sky? He's got 9. Dunn slashes. Bullock 3.
You just can't buy one from downtown. I mean, Bullock has gotten a wide open look. Lindsay back-to-back wide open looks.
3 of 16 Providence. Page a triple.
Wow. Look out.
Marcus Page has taken over the game.
Vincent's going to the locker room right here.
I didn't see what happened.
6-point turnaround right here. Wide open 3 for Bullock. He misses. And Page knocks down the 3 at the other end.
Benzel. Bryce Johnson out to guard on three.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
19 for Ben Benzel, the 6'9" sophomore. His third three.
Well, you got to get stops now. It's still a 7-point game. It's not like they're being blown out there within striking distance.
Page. We have a foul. It goes on Edwards of Providence, his second. Well, who's going to make the most shots? Who has more points in the second half? Playing the Capital One NCAA Tournament Run game on NCAA.com and in the March Madness Live app. The angular Bryce Johnson at the line.
I had a chance to speak with Roy Williams during practice yesterday, and I said, you know, in all your basketball years, you've coached some great players on some great teams from Kansas and Carolina. Who does Bryce Johnson remind you of all the great players? He says he's somewhat a combination of James Worthy from North Carolina and Drew Gooden of Kansas. Both were quick leapers off their feet, could finish in the open court. He's like, I just wish he had the work ethic, though, of a Tyler Hansborough, and then he would probably be the best player I ever coached in my life.
Well, that's fine, but Roy Williams had one Tyler Hansborough, and that's the most you get in your career. You don't get two of those guys.
Dunn, look at the white jerseys around him, and he was able to find an open Jalen Lindsey. Lindsey with his first two. Kenny Williams checked in moments ago for Carolina. First time we've seen him tonight. Bryce Johnson tries to take it in.
That's either Dunn or Bentel, and either way, it's four.
Dunn, fourth. Dunn picked up his fourth. Boy, it's a beautiful pass.
Well, now if you're Ed Cooley, what do? 8:44 left here in the clock. 4 fouls here.
Remember, they didn't make that nice run in the first half when he didn't have to sit on the bench.
I think they're going to have to take him out at least for a couple of minutes.
I think you're right. Here comes Edwards.
He's telling Ed Cooley, I'm fine. But he comes over and slaps down at the ball. Now, that's a mistake there. You just can't do that. If Johnson dribbles the ball, you go after it, but the officials are rarely going to let a guard, even a guard like Chris Dunn, come in and just slap down across the arms and take the ball from a big guy inside.
Chris Dunn, the first back-to-back Big East Player of the Year since Notre Dame's Troy Murphy back in 99, 2000, 2001. North Carolina, Reg, has made their last 11 free throws, so they're filling up that category. Front right, into Barry. Foul. Joel Barry. Second. So now, guys, we should kind of keep track of our clock when Dunn leaves.
8:44. If I'm Coach Ed Cooley, I've got to bring him back. I let him sit out a minute and a half. You got to gamble. Your program's future is on the line here. You got to have the best player on the floor.
Yeah, you do, but Dunn has, you know, I'd be a little bit worried because he's been reaching tonight. And, you know, I know he doesn't do that all the time, but he maybe is a little over-anxious this evening. If I'm Ed Cooley, I let him sit over there as long as I can maintain myself within striking distance against North Carolina. The moment it looks like that's going away, he's got to go back in. And missing 2 free throws right there doesn't help.
Isaiah Hitch, the 6th man of the year in the ACC, is checked back in for Kenny Williams for North Carolina.
It kills me when I see guards miss free throws. I mean, it drives me absolutely crazy.
And Bentel just picked up his 4th foul.
Wow, goodness.
4 on Bentel.
Well, now
4 on Dunn.
I bring back Dunn right now. Let them both play with 4. Go down with a blaze here with your 2 best players. See, you can't put yourself in that position. The official is right there.
Dunn and Bentel both first-team all.
Here comes Dunn, Reg.
Big East Conference players. You're right, Reg. And here comes Johnson. Go with Dunn. And that's
Go
what
down
they're
swinging.
Yeah,
Go down swinging.
Well, if you're Bentel, you're allowed to use that arm bar if Bryce Johnson is in the low post, but he was 6 feet out in the corner. You cannot put that arm on him. That's been a foul since the first game of the season.
Carolina and Providence played each other in the 2014 NCAA. Providence the other night when they beat SC with their first tournament win since 1997. Also the last time they reached their last Sweet 16.
Well, this has been a frustrating night for Ed Cooley, but what a great year Providence has had. This is 3 years in a row now that they've been in the NCAA tournament. I know he's a little frustrated.
He only thought this year, Dan, it's shocking to say this with guys like Bentel and Dunn on the team, he thought they would only make the NIT.
Well, he had no idea that Bentel was going to make the strides that he made.
As a sophomore. Edwards goes back. Cartwright comes back in. By the way, another monster game for Bryce Johnson, who had 8 blocks the other night, 18 points in the Thursday game. In the round of 32, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. Dunn. Bentel a screen. Dunn on top. Bullock fires the tray.
Boy, Bentel's got to be careful.
Page.
They cannot buy a basket from downtown.
Yeah, but look who's shooting the ball from downtown. They've done a nice job covering up Bentel and Dunn for the most part. They're the guys who've made the outside shots.
Bryce Johnson.
He's been spectacular once again.
Since we were tied at 41, here comes Dunn. Hits the deck with the retrieval of the ball.
And that's it. Was that Bullock or Dunn? Or, oh, it might have been Bentel.
I think it's Bentel. They called the foul on 0.
Bentel's got 5. His night is over.
Oh my. That will not help.
The leading Big East scorer, Ben Bentel, is fouling out of the game at a time when Providence needs him the most.
A critical call, but look at the arrow. That is the leg of Ben Bentel, and you can see that that leg is into the back of Isaiah Hicks. Now, there's hand-to-hand combat after that, but the official is looking at that leg into the back of Isaiah Hicks. That's where the call was made. All that stuff afterwards was merely after the play.
Junior Lumumba has taken the place of Ben Bentel, junior from Montreal.
And that is the first play, one of the first plays they talk about at the referee clinics in the summer, is that guy from behind with his leg in a player, and that's exactly what happened there.
Guys, since we were tied at 41 apiece, North Carolina going on a 24-9 run.
Kind of reminiscent of Thursday, too, when they were close to Florida Gulf Coast and then just kind of took off in that second half.
Turnover, Dunn, Perry, Page, slashing, knocked away inside. Bullock got a hand on it. Out of bounds it goes to Lewis Johnson.
Yeah, Kevin, a few minutes ago we saw North Carolina's Theo Pinson head out. He was back in the hallway telling the medical staff that he had gotten lightheaded and lost his breath. Well, they took a long look at him, took his blood pressure, monitored his pulse, even put a stethoscope to his chest, spent several minutes talking, and in the end, they cleared him to come back in.
Great report, Lewis. Thank you.
Well, maybe it would help him if he wasn't sitting over there smacking himself on the head.
Jackson. Shot clock at 8. Jackson, floater again. Rebound, Dunn. His second of the night.
Well, obviously, with no Bentel, Chris Dunn's going to have to be a little bit more assertive.
Jackson, Hicks the assist. Hicks, the ACC's 6th man of the year.
Well, it's going to be a problem for Dunn to be more assertive, because every time he tries to get in the lane, they get 3 guys on him. They swallow him up.
Well, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Jackson.
Oh, no question.
In this second half, he has done a great job of just being a blanket on Dunn.
Got 9. Dunn takes it inside with a Carolina foul after the games are all over. Matt Weiner, Seth Davis, Wally Zerbiak, and Vanderbilt head coach Kevin Stallings have all the highlights and analysis on Inside March Madness, presented by Buick. Only TBS. Bryce Johnson will take a breather. He picks up his 4th foul. Done at the line. It was interesting hearing Roy Williams talk about this terrific Carolina team, the #1 seed, second #1 overall, and back at Kansas, Roy said maybe this may be his most favorite team that he's coached. He's had a lot of good ones.
I think he's got some personalities on this team that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I think you're right. They finished the AP poll #3, highest finish since 2009. The Heels.
And as we've seen here this weekend, they can come at you from a lot of different directions.
Well, I've been impressed with the way they've been able to shrink the floor defensively, especially on Dunn and Bento, who's already fouled out as hits. Just mouse in the house, backing down Bullock. I mean, this is just beautiful to watch. If you're a big man, just look at the footwork here. And then the shoulders, the step through. I mean, Kevin McHale somewhere just got off his couch and given this young man a standing ovation.
What a combination of size and quickness and strength. And this guy comes off the bench.
Yeah.
29-10 Carolina run. I mentioned earlier that Bryce Johnson was a first-team All-ACC selection. Carolina is the first team in ACC history to win a regular season championship outright and have just one player earn all conference honors on the first, second, or third teams. Dunn, 3, good. Timeout, Providence. 20 for Dunn. The average is 16. They're down by 16. Good view of tomorrow's second round continuing. Noon Eastern on CBS, Iowa, Villanova. 5 o'clock Eastern, TNT. With the NCAA Infinity Tip-Off Show, 8 games across CBS, TNT, TBS, and True TV over 12 hours.
Kevin, and how interesting would it be? A lot of people said Syracuse shouldn't be in the tournament, but with a win tomorrow, they can get to the Sweet 16.
7 teams have made it to the Sweet 16. Winner here will be the 8th. Pinson, good feed. Jackson, Pinson. They come at you from 18 different directions.
Jackson's going to claim he should get an assist for that.
Bullock with a 3, he's defending.
Bullock still hasn't made a field goal, has he?
And there's a lid from that 3-point line.
0-7.
Now, Providence just isn't very good if they have to rely simply on Dental and on Dunn, and that's what has happened here today. They have not gotten contribution. Now, they did from Cartwright in the first half, but in the second half, they just haven't gotten any offense from anybody except Dental and Dunn.
And that's why Ed Cooley told us we're 2.5 players. We know we're going to get from our 2 players. And that half usually changes as Jackson points in the paint, being dominated here by the Tar Heels.
14-0. Yeah, the second chance points for North Carolina. It's an Edwards shot, but a whistle beforehand with a foul.
Nice save here by Hicks to Jackson.
And that's the kind of plays we've seen North Carolina make, particularly on the inside all night. They have been a little step faster than Providence.
And Dan, I like how Carolina has really imposed their will. Their depth, their length, their size.
Hicks, 4th foul.
Make for a pretty good game against Indiana, don't you think?
Yes.
Page, Berry. Henson into Jackson. 20-point lead, the biggest for the top seed Tar Heels. They began the season 19-2, started the ACC 8-0. Beat UVA in the ACC tournament 61-57. In their 6th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance. They are 29-6, circling over their 30th win of the year here tonight.
And Kevin, a little bit of historical perspective. It was in 1981 that North Carolina after beating Virginia in the Final Four, advanced to the championship game against Indiana and in Philadelphia. And the Hoosiers were the winners of that game. So
that was the day President Reagan.
Yes, it was. So the two storied programs, they appear that they're going to be the ones to match up in Philadelphia next week.
That was at the old Spectrum. This one will be the Wells Fargo Center. Foul on Pinson. Dunn with the move. Pinson picks up his first. Heavy pressure all night long from Carolina. With the heavy taking us to break here in Raleigh. You're watching the NCAA tournament on TBS. TBS is your home for the national semifinals on April 2nd. Championship, April 4th, Monday. These are the teams that have made it half the field in for the Sweet 16, and we did include North Carolina's name there. 8 in, 8 to go. All tomorrow. TBS, CBS, TNT, and True. Done.
Go. Providence. Got to continue to play hard here.
Page and Hicks is open.
And those are the kind of baskets you're going to give up. If you're Providence, you have to try to pressure the basketball. And when you do, and you try to double team and you don't get the kind of pressure you want, somebody's going to be wide open.
Done, three, doubled, got it.
He's good. This young man just has all the talent in the world. Can shoot from distance. Great defensively.
Number one in Connecticut. Here comes Page. Trying to get it, shot from behind.
Well, the problem,
he's got a foul.
He's got a foul on
Jackson.
Jackson, yes.
Yep, we pushed him.
He's going to send Dunn to the free throw line. Look at the rebound here by Dunn. And that's just Jackson coming over the top.
Dan, you did a lot of ACC games this year. Is Carolina the longest team in the ACC?
Oh, there's not any question. I
think Syracuse to be long. Kansas is the longest team I've seen. These might be the two teams look down the road to be.
Well, Kevin, it's always fun to look down the road, but coaches will never do that. They're always looking at just the next game, and you can certainly understand that philosophy. But it's fun to look ahead and say, well, what if this team played this team in a North Carolina-Kansas matchup? That would be something that everybody could really have a good time with.
Barry right down the middle.
This is just
Joel
too easy. Too easy here.
Carolina's got 5 players in double figures.
How about 9 guys have scratched here for Carolina? 9 scores.
We got 2 of everything. Lamamba inside. Freshman Edwards trying to get some breathing space and Hicks won't allow it. Bullock off the fingertips, ricochets, and it Lindsay.
And what North Carolina has done is impose their style on this game. Providence, they fell behind, particularly once Dunn got in a little bit of foul trouble, particularly once Bento fouled out of the game. North Carolina is just going at their pace, and that pace has been too quick for Providence.
By winning the other night, the Providence Friars in their first NCAA tournament game since 1997. As the continual ascension of the program is very evident with Ed Cooley. Drive and then a slam. Hicks sent it home on the miss by Barry.
The offensive glass, points in the paint. What we've seen here in Raleigh from North Carolina, you don't do your job early to keep these bigs off the glass as Chambers knocks down a 3.
Kyrie Chambers. Sophomore from Germany. He'll step aside, 2:01 to go. We're going to put the Tar Heels in that #1 slot in Philadelphia. They'll take on the Hoosiers from the Big Ten of Indiana. 27th time, most all-time in college basketball history that the Tar Heels are going to a Sweet 16. Roy Williams has won a couple national championships in 05 and 09. This is a devastatingly good team. And tonight they showed it, and deep.
And deep.
Well, what you have to be able to do against these guys is you better put some points on the board because, as we said, they can come at you from all sorts of different angles.
To me, I think it's always going to come down for Carolina. You've got to keep them off the glass. If they don't get second and third looks and opportunities, then at times they struggle to score.
Donnie's got 27. He'll take it. Hicks knocked it away. Pinson 2-on-1. Jackson.
Not goaltending? Or did he take it to the rim? Or to the backboard?
Well, you're allowed to pin it on the backboard as long as the ball isn't coming down, but you can't hit it once it touches the backboard if it's above the rim. I think Reggie, might be what you said, he might have carried it to the backboard.
Done. 29. Denzel fouled out. He had 19. Carolina's got, let's see here, 21 from Bryce Johnson, 15 from Jackson, 13 from Hicks, 12 from Page, Barry with 15. Well, after the game is over, Matt Weiner, Seth Davis, Wally Zerbiak, and Vanderbilt head coach Kevin Stallings have the highlights, the analysis of Inside March Madness, presented by Buick, only on TBS.
Very impressive performance by North Carolina this weekend. They looked like a #1 seed.
Well, Stillman White, Justin Coleman, Spencer Dalton checking in for North Carolina. May is in. Luke May is a freshman. He has it right here. He was all academic ACC.
May was playing the role of Ben Biddle during practice yesterday, and he had the purple light. He never felt so good in his life. Every time he caught the ball, he was shooting.
Woodring is checked in for Providence. Audrey Smith is in the game. Johnny Chambers remains. Tom Panic is checked in.
And a disappointing way for it to end for Chris Dunn, who came back to Providence when he had a chance to move on to professional basketball. Wanted to get his degree to set an example for his younger sisters, and just a tremendous young man, and it's very disappointing for him to have it end this way.
Yeah, but he played fantastic. And if you're going to go out in your terms.
Well, when you come right down to it, Reg, only one team that's going to finish this tournament. There's Chris Dunn. He surprised a lot of people by coming back to Providence. He said he wanted to improve his game, and certainly I think he did that. And he's on schedule to get his degree in June. Just a young man who epitomizes what this should be all about.
100%. I applaud that.
I applaud Raleigh. They've been a great host for this first and second round.
There's always two sides to a story, and you see the jubilation on that Carolina bench. I'll tell you what, they are a load to handle. So deep, so athletic, and at the end of the day, well coached by Roy Williams.
Another Sweet 16 for Roy Williams, and North Carolina is going to Philadelphia. And a date with the Indiana Hoosiers next Friday. Notre Dame will take on Stephen F. Austin tomorrow. Wisconsin Xavier in St. Louis tomorrow night. They'll fill out the 4 in Philadelphia next weekend. Let's swing it over to Lewis Johnson.
All right, thanks very much. Well, Coach, you're moving on to the Sweet 16, but first, just your thoughts on this fight that Providence gave you here tonight.
Well, they were something the first half, and then in the second half, we got it going a little bit. They scored the first 6 points in the second, and then we really showed some toughness after that. Bryce was really good for us. Isaiah was big for us. I mean, we played good basketball, and we caught them on the night where they didn't make their shots.
You talked a lot about paying attention to details and the small things. Did you see that tonight out of your team?
Saw it a lot better tonight we did the first half 2 nights ago, and this guy's pretty good player.
Wait a minute now. How about this 6 crowd, the Carolina crowd? You need a 747 maybe to take them with you to Philly. What do you think?
I love them to death. I would pay for that, I guarantee.
You would? Okay.
Talk to this guy.
Congratulations. Bryce, what a night out of you. Big points. Just talk about your performance and what you accomplished tonight.
Man, hey, we try to play a lot better as a team. I mean, it came down to me too. I'm trying to be one of the leaders of this team, so I got to be able to step up in big-time games.
As you move on now, you've got to think about improvements, ways that you guys can get better as you face even stiffer competition. What do you see there?
I mean, we just got to keep playing defense, man. We didn't do too well in the first half again, but I mean, it was still better than yesterday. So I mean, not yesterday, but the other day. So it's just we got to keep getting better and better, and we'll be fine.
All right, your next foe is Indiana. Your thoughts on playing the Hoosiers?
I mean, they're a very tough team. They beat a good Kentucky team earlier today, and I mean, we just got to be ready for them because I know they're going to be ready for us.
All right, congratulations. Safe travels to Philly.
Thank you very much.
Kevin?
Bryce Williams, thank you, Lewis. 21 points, 10 rebounds. Roy Williams told us the other day he may have advanced more than any other player I've coached. He has shown it. The Tar Heels are going to the Sweet 16. All a part of the road to the Final Four. In a season where they won the ACC regular season and ACC tournament title, the North Carolina Tar Heels capture their 30th win on the season, and they're headed to the Sweet 16. A date with the Hoosiers in Philadelphia next Friday. They beat Providence 85-66 tonight. Coming up on TBS, it's Inside March Madness presented by Buick. For Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner, and Lewis Johnson, Kevin Harlan saying good night from Raleigh, North Carolina.